Okay guys, so I've just opened up the Vanity dressing table. This is the first box, which is the main table. And the first thing I'm going to do is remove this cling film. Pull the cling film up, and I'm going to cut away from the table. Simple as. For now, I'm going to remove the glass, which is quite heavy. Once I remove the glass, I'm going to go to this little bag which has all our fixings in it. If you don't have a screwdriver, they give you a little screwdriver. So it's all gravy, it's all good. Yeah. Okay, so this box here will have the plug in it. And we have these little bad boys here. So these here, what you're going to do is loosen this. You can't take it out, but I would just keep it on a little bit. And I'll show you where you plug that into the hole. And as you tighten this, this expands. And that's what gives you the hold. So this kind lady has allowed me to take this video on her house. So we'll get to it. I just pour out all my stuff onto a piece of cardboard, and I am going to grab the other piece. Grab this other piece here, which is quite heavy. Again, this comes covered in cling film. I'm going to remove the cling film. Very carefully cutting, making sure not to damage anything. And for reference, this bigger drawer goes to the bottom. Remove the cling film, carefully slide this piece out. And same on the other side, there's another piece as well. And I just take that out. Just for the sake of it, we're going to put this little bit of polystyrene down first, just as a little protective layer before we start adding any pressure to this. And then we go to our construction, or instructions, and open up our instructions. And we are at step 1. We are building the frame. So we have step 1, building the frame, and then we're adding the top. Once the top's on, we add the glass. It's very simple, eh? We will add in these little boys that I mentioned before, and the screwdriver. I'll just use the one they give us. So we have a hole here. Let me just make sure that we can see. Yeah, so you can see fine there. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop these in. As I mentioned before, make sure it's nice and loose so you can get it in. Once it's in, comfortable that it's in tight, it should go down nice and flush. Once you screw this, it expands, and that's what creates the hold, is that plastic piece expanding. There we go. If we want, we can position this before we actually do any more. So this here piece is going in this the alcove. So I have my one piece position, and again, as you can see, we're tight for space here, but still very easy. Pushing that in, tightening my screw. Simple as. Till the shoulder is nice and flush. I'll just take the camera down to show you. So you can see that these are nice and flush now. So again, these little bad boys, making sure they're nice and loose so that they can fit in the hole. And I have this positioned. The holes on top, big drawer bottom. And again, just pushing these in. Push them in nice and tight. Work them in. See, that's nice and flush. And then screwing this, it'll expand, and that's what creates the hole. So simple as that. I'm going to put two of them in now, and I will record or continue recording. Okay, so I have my two bits in there. I'm going to use these little fixers. They have arrows on them. You point the arrow towards the hole. Simple as. Holes there, arrows there. Gotta press in. Same on this side. Same here. Make sure the arrow is facing out. Same here. And here. And one more down here. Okay. So I'm going to get this back in the tripod and I'll continue the video. So I have all my little fixings here on this piece, and this is the one we done earlier. So I'm going to point all these fixings towards the back of this, towards the back. So grab my screwdriver and simply just put it on. Not much pressure needed. Turning them until they can't turn no more. Righty tighty. Okay, so them two are now fixed, and I'll just move it over here, and you can see here. Simply lift this piece up. Be very careful. All the holes towards the back of the unit. And I'm hoping we can see this okay. So this just slides in. This just slides into place. Hand-eye coordination for this. Okay, so this is basically connected up now. What I'm going to do is tighten these two. That'll fix this side onto this, and then we'll get working on the top. So here we are, we're at the back of this. You can see I've got a little gap there, and just going to tighten this. And there's one at the bottom too. And that's it. That's the unit now secured. I'm going to put on one of these in here and one here, just to secure the top. Okay, so all I've done is flipped this unit. That's all I've done. So go back to these little boys, and I loosen them first, plug them in, loosen them, give them a little wiggle in, same again, pull through the holes, give it a little wiggle in. this one again, loosen them, because if they're too tight they'll not go in the hole. Simple as. You can even take it off and push it on with your thumb, doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do now is tighten these little bad boys up. Nice and tight. You might get one or two that's tricky, like that one. That's good, nice and strong. Get my big red. Get my big red. Big red's better. There we go. Okay, so this is the. But now we are going to lift this and put it on top of the unit, which can be a bit tricky. So all I've done is I've lifted this unit up and placed it on top so that all the holes line up. So you can see there's a little gap there. Once I tighten these, that will eliminate the gap. I will say, when you're lifting this top on, try and get some help, it's quite heavy. So I'm just going to tighten that up and remove this drawer, or pull the drawer out I should say. And this will, these four will go here. It's just a matter of shimmying this unit, shimmying this to get these holes lined up. Okay, so the unit is more or less complete. Everything's fixed on. I've put in the screws that I showed. Just a little bit of shimmying of this unit got that lined up. The handles are all inside, so it's just a matter of undoing this, putting the handle on the outside. Now the final step before the glass is these. These are little protective feet. So I like to place one there. Can I place one there? And this just takes a bit of shock off the glass. Okay, so do not panic. They tend to give you spares. There's a spare handle, a spare screw, and a couple of spare nuts. Do not panic, it's completely normal, and you can place these feet kind of wherever you want, really. I like to just do what makes sense to me. So I have them two here, and two here, and then just two on the front. So all I'm going to do now is place the glass there, and that will be the unit done, and I will show the mirror. Okay, so I have opened the Hollywood mirror, and that's what it looks like. First thing I'm going to do is lift this piece out. This is just a big piece of foam with your bulbs on it. I set that aside. Go to just a little 10 times magnifying mirror, can take that out. And I just tip up our mirror. Just be very careful. It's not too heavy now, to be honest with you. So I'm going to try and get it stand. If we can get it to stand, these feet will help it stand, you know, so I like to stand it. This is very easy, this one, so make sure you can see. So we have screws here. What we're going to do is remove all of them screws. get my big red out. So big red. Oh. Try not to lose the screws while you're doing it. Nice and easy. Nothing too exciting here. So, we have all our screws. Okay, all of our screws are out. What we're going to do, we're going to lift out this metal piece and simply set it on and put the screws back in. It's important not to fully tighten any of these screws until you get them all in or partially in, because you might fall into alignment issues, or if you want to go one at the top, one mid, just to ensure that you'll get them lined up with these. So yeah, I'm confident they'll all line up. I can see they'll all line up lovely for me, so I can go ahead and start tightening these. Lovely. And there's a fair few of these. You don't need to over tighten these. It's a stand from where, so there's no kind of force going away from it. Okay, so that is this base on, and if you look within your bulbs, I know you guys can't see this, but you'll have these little pads. We're just going to place them on the corners. This is just to stop it from scraping our unit, so they'll just go on the corners like so. Because this is folded steel, so we want to have some sort of protection. And once them 4 little L pads are on, it's just a matter of lifting the mirror, putting it on the unit. And I'm not going to show you guys how to screw in a light bulb. I think we all know how to screw in a light bulb. And that's it. Samples. Okay, so that's the unit up. Easy peasy.